Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Prophetic Lifestyles with Bernard Bolton, where we are making the prophetic practical, bringing the prophetic into everyday life, and seeing the future now. I pray that you're doing well. I want you to know how much I appreciate you being a part of our channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And listen, click on the notification bell right next to subscription so you will always get notified when new videos are coming on. Also, we ask that you would like the video, share it with others, and leave a comment. All right. So today we are in a prophetic season. Of course, it is a literal season for the Jewish people and for those who observe this particular feast. But for us, it is a prophetic season, and it is called Purim. And it is one of those seasons. And when I call it a prophetic season, it's not that we literally celebrate Purim as our feast, but it's one of those special times on the Hebrew calendar where we want to just hear God, and we want to be sensitive to what God is saying, and we want to be watching for what the Lord is doing. So today is called Purim. Purim is actually a feast derived uh, from the book of Esther. And so I just wanted to share with you some prophetic principles, how to best walk in this season called Purim. And today is the last day of Purim. Of course, it started on yesterday. It is a 2 day feast. And of course, that word feast, the Hebrew word for feast is moedim. And moedim means a time set apart by God to meet him. And so today, I just want to challenge you to take some time to meet the Lord and to hear what he is saying, and then to watch what he is doing. That may be in your own personal life, it may be in your community, it may be in your nation. Um, but again, for us, it is a time to really engage and hear what the Lord is saying. All right. And so as we look at Purim actually, as I said, Purim is a time where Israel celebrates its victory over its enemy. A lot of people use the term deliverance to apply to Purim, but Purim is more about defense rather than deliverance. Now, deliverance is when you have been, two things happen. Deliverance is when you have been rescued from an enemy that is greater than you and who is about to annihilate you. Rescue. And then deliverance is also having a way of escape. The Lord makes a way of escape for you. So in that instance, it is deliverance. I want to get us clear about what deliverance is, because a lot of people are, they're into deliverance and they're waiting for somebody to do something. They're waiting for the Lord to do something for them. They're waiting for someone to lay hands on them and do a deliverance act on them. Um, that's really, that is part of deliverance, and but that's not really what deliverance is for us in the new covenant. Okay, now if you are oppressed by the demonic, if you are possessed by the demonic, then surely deliverance is what you need to be rescued. But most of the time, deliverance, and what we see from this instance and from this story, is deliverance is really defense, and that defense then makes a way for us to escape from the hand of our enemy. Most of the time, defense though is victory. It is conquering. It is war. All right. And so I want to help us to understand that you may be in a bad place right now, and you're waiting for the Lord to deliver you. But I want you to really go into a place and ask the Lord, what is the strategy? What is the method? Because the Lord may very well be saying to you, you must defend yourself. You must defend your ground. And in your defense, I'm providing a way. In your victory, I am providing a way for you to overcome your enemies. And I believe that that is the new covenant mentality that we must have. We've got to break out of this religious mindset. Well, the devil is after me, and I just need the Lord to come by and deliver me. All right. Because most of the time it's not the devil, as we see in the story of Esther. It wasn't the devil. Haman can be a picture of the devil, but actually Haman is more of a picture of an evil person who is full of racism and full of anti-Semitism, full of hatred for the people of God because he despised one man, Mordecai. Haman takes his hatred for one man and then propels it on an entire race because he has that kind of authority. So Haman is a picture of a lot of things: systemic racism. And I don't play the race card, and I don't, play with a lot of these terms that we hear uh, being promoted in the media and in social media. But Haman is a picture of an evil person, and most of the time, your defense is against a person or a people who hate you for whatever reason and desire to destroy you or desire to oppress you. All right. So Haman may look like the devil, but I would rather look at Haman for who he is, an evil person who has authority and who tried to use his authority and influence with the king to destroy a race of people. All right. So the principles I want to share with you today is what does Purim represent? Because again, it does represent defense. And so as I was writing my notes and meditating over this and hearing the Lord, the Lord said that Ukraine is a sign of Purim for this time. Uh, because what is Ukraine doing? Ukraine could very well defeat their enemy, who is more formidable, Russia. They are standing when it looked like that Ukraine would be taken down, very quickly. But the world is watching Ukraine defend itself. And so the Lord began to show me how Ukraine, and I don't know the outcome, and I'm not prophesying that they're going to win. I leave that to the prophets. But I will say that Ukraine is a picture of defense. Even though they're looking for deliverance from others, they are fighting for their defense. They are fighting for their land. The people are resolved behind their leader, and they are standing up to their enemy who has more resources. The army of their enemy is greater, but they are defending themselves. So that's really what Purim represents for us as a prophetic people. There comes a time when we must defend ourselves against our enemy, whether that's spiritual or whether that's human or natural or anything of the sort. All right. So here's the principles I wanted to share with you from Purim. First of all, Purim, a principle of Purim is a time of intercession. All right. And so in chapter 8, in Esther chapter 8, we see Esther humbling herself to the king, and she is interceding for her people. Please understand, intercession is not limited to prayer only. Intercession can start with prayer, but intercession literally means, or prophetically, it means the word intercede is the word paga, and it means to meet. It means to meet with one. It means to either meet with the Lord, or it means to meet with another. In this instance, Esther is interceding before the king because he's the one that has authority. He's the one who has power. And she is interceding for the life of her people. So in this Purim season, we want to intercede, but I want to call you to a deeper place in intercession, where intercession is not just praying. Intercession is actually meeting with the Lord, sharing your burdens with Him, and then listening to His instructions, listening to His word, and getting an assignment if He gives you one. That is really what intercession. The end of intercession is that we do the will of God. Okay, prayer is again. I repeat that it's a part, but it is not just intercession. Is not just praying for other people. It is actually when you intercede for a person, you're actually putting yourself in the place of becoming the solution for that person, or becoming the problem solver for that person. You are waiting to get an assignment from the Lord, who will then carry you into intercession. So when the Bible says Jesus lives to intercede for us, Jesus is not just praying for us, and He's not just on His throne praying for us. He is actually legislating for us. He is fighting for us. He is speaking to us. That is really what intercession is. So Esther interceded. That is a prophetic principle of Purim. Esther interceded. All right. The second principle that we've already spoken of is Israel defended itself from its enemy and overcame through their defense. So, listen, this is an important part of understanding war, because we have been taught that war is just simply, waiting for the Lord to give us the victory and to fight the battle for us. And the battle, and we've taken that passage out of context. The battle is not yours, it's the Lord's. But there is a time when you must defend your life, your property, your possessions. There is a time when you must defend yourself against your enemy. There are three primary enemies, y'all. There is the devil. The devil is an enemy. There is the world, okay, which is the system. It is the system of this world, the cosmos. And then there's the flesh, which is your individual self. Most of the time, your greatest enemy is yourself. It's not the devil. And so a lot of times it's not the world. All right. And so we have to determine how are we defending ourselves? Who is the real enemy in our life that we must defend ourselves and that we must conquer and gain the victory? And then the third principle is that they won, after they won the battle against their enemies, because even though Haman was dead, the king's decree, that legislation was still in effect. So on that day, that 13th day of Adar, there were many enemies who rose up to attack the people of Israel, the Jewish people. One of the reasons why they attacked them is because the Jewish people were so wealthy that a lot of people wanted their property. The Jewish people have always been a wealthy people, a thriving people, enterprising people. And so a lot of their enemies, it wasn't spiritual warfare, but it was a war against them to take their life and then take their properties. What happened, Israel not only defended itself, but it also increased its riches, because the principle of warfare is when you defeat your enemy, you claim his possessions. All right. And so then after Israel defended themselves, then they celebrated. All right. So Purim is a time of celebration. And I want to encourage you to celebrate. Celebrate. All right. We have overcome Purim. We have not overcome Purim, but let us make this Purim a celebration that we have overcome our enemy called the coronavirus. The coronavirus was an enemy. Unfortunately, it took many lives. It destroyed many lives. It affected just about every nation, and it is continuing to do so. But we can celebrate because I believe we are coming out, and I believe that prophetically. Now, in many places, we still have to wear our masks. We still have to be vigilant. We have to practice social distance. We can't be around large crowds, but for the most part, we are coming out, and we want to celebrate. So at least celebrate today. Celebrate that you have come out and that you have been victorious in the midst of this pandemic, which is a pay word. Now, lastly, I want to say because Purim is a pay word, Purim is one of the feasts that's going to be elevated in this era of the 20s. All right, because we're in a pay decade, and so Purim is one of the pay words. Passover is and we're going into Passover. So Purim and Passover will be two of the most important feast times, and I believe these are times of very prophetic times that we're living in. So Purim, we want to speak. All right, we want to speak our deliverance. We want to declare that we are a delivered people. Say that with me. I am delivered. But also say with me, I am a defender. I have defended myself. I am standing in defense of myself. And so as we speak that, we can also understand that Purim is also the Vav. It is a festival. The Vav is the connection between heaven and earth, between the ram, heaven and earth. Not so much heaven as a place, but heaven as a ram. A ram, and sometimes I'll say that word is my Midwestern accent. All right, but it is a ram, and so we are connected to heaven. We are seated in heavenly places. This is what Purim represents, that heaven is open to us. And though we're in the earth, we are also in the heavens. And so we are the connection. And Purim is a connection to our God, who is our deliverer, but who has given us the power to defend. And then Purim is also in the mind. And so Purim is not so much a festival that we observe literally, but it is a place in our minds where in our thoughts, we defend ourselves. We are pulling down strongholds in our thoughts. We are pulling down uh, we're pulling down strongholds. We're pulling down foolish thinking. We're pulling down words that have captured us. We are bringing our feelings. Okay, and so today is actually a day to have great feelings. Feel happiness. Feel your happiness today. Let Purim give you some happiness. Be happy. Okay, and then Purim is also a place where we make good decisions and great choices. So let this be a day of choices for you, a day of making the best choices for yourself. All right, so we're out of here. God bless you. uh, I celebrate Purim with you, and I pray that today, and I pray that this season, for as long as it lasts, because as a prophetic people, we don't Purim doesn't have to end with us today. We can actually call this a season of meeting God and being in a place of intercession and being in a place of happiness and just being in a place of joy. And then watching, and I want to come alongside of you who are right now defending. I'm in a good place where I'm not necessarily having to defend anything, but there comes times when we have to defend ourselves from the enemy. But even in your defense, declare out of your mouth, because Purim is a pay season. It is a pay time, and declare out of your mouth that I am delivered, I am a deliverer, and I am a defender. God bless you. Shalom.